こんにちは。Hello. Hello. Thank you very much for joining this session today. So the main theme of this session is the island and well-being, or happiness, or satisfaction, or whatever the good thing. So the well-being. So I was told to facilitate this session about 2 days ago. So I'm not fully ready to do that, but I try. So anyway, so I'm Yoshi, and public health researcher, and studying the field of well-being across globe. So and let me first introduce myself. And I was born and raised in a very small island called Ikuchijima Island. And I'm a third generation of atomic bomb survivor. And you know, the people who managed to survive such a terrible experience, so all of them changed their perspective and changed their life. For example, my grandparents was the only survivor among the other 100 classmates. And in Hiroshima. So after the atomic bomb survivor, they decided to contribute to the society. So their theme is peace, health, and happiness. And my grandparents all told me to choose one of these 3 topics. And I chose happiness. And my father chose health because he's a physician. And he worked as a physician in the very remote island, so called Ikuchijima, where I was born. And actually, my father was the only physician at that island, and I was almost only child. So that's why the residents in that island loved me a lot. And every year when my birthday came, they launched a big firework just for me. So yeah, that's who I am. And I'm now traveling around the world to study what's the good life, what is good life to the local people. And I'm studying the commonalities and the difference across the many regions and the many people. So yeah, that's me. And so why don't we introduce ourselves, so one by one. So who wanna be the first? どうしましょうか。じゃあせっかくなんで、そう
自己紹介。はじめまして、上条ゆりなと言います。私は、高齢者の生活を支える仕事をしています。中学2年生の学校の職業体験がきっかけで初めて高齢者に出会って、年を重ねるってなんて素晴らしいんだろうっていうことを学びました。でそこから高齢者は全員好きです。国籍とか文化とか関係なくどの国に行っても高齢者は全員好きです。で今日の皆さんはまだまだ若いのでそこまで好きまだ好きじゃない
高齢者だからね。高齢者一番好き。さっきベリマッチ。
で私の親の世代の大人たちは子供の頃が一番楽しかったとかあの頃は良かったなっていう話をよくしてたんですけど、私が見てる高齢者は年を取るとか高齢者になるってこんなに素晴らしいんだよっていうことをいつも教えてくれます。で、私の専門は認知症の高齢者 なんですけど、私がいつも、ピンクのスニーカーを履いてるんですけど、今日は履いてないですで、ピンクのスニーカーを履いてると、そのおじいちゃんおばあちゃんがたくさん褒めてくれます。あなたすごく可愛いスニーカーを履いているねっていうのを、しかも1日に100回以上褒めてくれるんです。しかも毎回初めてのテンションで褒めてくれるんですよ。多分皆さんは認知症じゃないのでそんなに褒めてくれないと思うんですだからその落ち込んだ時とかには健常者よりも認知症のおじいちゃんおばあちゃんに会いに行った方が何回も何回も褒めてくれるので、その彼らは私にたくさんの幸せを毎回もたらせてくれます。だからこそ認知症はネガティブだけじゃなくて、すごくその私にとってはハピネスを作ってくれる存在だなと日々感じています。はい、以上です。
Thank you.
So her life purpose is to explore the positive side of aging. Okay, so who's gonna be next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Since you're not gonna go. Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Troy Allen Hinano Mazawa, and I'm a kumuhula, or a teacher of hula on the island of Kauai. What I do, I guess, in a sense, is to educate, to perpetuate, and to preserve our history and our culture through our language, which is our Hawaiian language, which is Olelo Hawaii, and dance. Our school consists of about 100, just about 100 students, and we're a very young school. My school is only 3 years old, but we definitely reach a wide range of ages within our school. Our youngest student is 4 years old, and our oldest student is about 88 years old. In Hawaii, we have an opportunity to share our language and to educate people about our old customs. It includes music, song, dance, religion. It speaks of migration and how immigrants moved to the islands. And so we have a very diverse community that we educate through the hula, which enables us an opportunity to spread joy and love into the dancers, and then that joy and that love and that passion then gets transferred while the dancer is dancing. So as a hula dancer or a teacher of hula, the life of the dance or the mele, the song that we teach, does not necessarily take shape in the lesson. It takes shape as the dancer evolves and is able to share that beautiful connection of the hula or the language. I'm a very, I strongly believe in the spirit of aloha, whereas to us here today we say aloha as a form of hello and goodbye or welcome greeting, but aloha really is the essence of our people, our Polynesian people, our Hawaiian people. It is that one great word really means love, and alo is your face. So when you think about expression and you think about how we greet people, we don't greet people with our backside. We greet people looking at you face to face and looking at each other in the eyes. And by doing that, we're sharing our breath, ha. So alo is your face, ha is your breath that comes from here, that connects you to every generation that came before you. So when we think about what I do is basically I try my very best on a daily to express aloha, to teach with aloha, with love and respect to all of our ancestors, and to hope that one day all of that joy that I teach in my school can be spread all over the world. So as a hula practitioner, as a singer, as a dancer, we utilize our body, our entire body, from the tips of our toes to the top of our head, to really translate a message of peace, a message of aloha. And right now in Hawaii, there is a very strong movement called Kapu Aloha. Can you all say that? Kapu? Kapu is forbidden or sacred. Yeah? Sacred. Kapu, sacred. And aloha is the passion. So what Kapu Aloha means to me, and as I share this Ike Aloha with all of you, is to be the greatest human being that you can be is the greatest gift that you can share. And this is taught to us by our ancestors. And when you are able to share your greatest self, you become a great and kind servant of our great Creator. And you know, I'm very happy to be here to express and to share my Ike Aloha with all of you. And I look forward to great discussions. And I think Uncle Art will go next.
Wow.
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah,
Good.
connection.
Mahalo.
This is Mr. Troy Hinano Lazaro. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Wow, great.
Wow. You put me on a spot.
I
sir.
did.
Again, aloha.
Aloha. Wow.
My name is Art Umezu. I was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan.
Tokyo.
Tokyo, Japan. The elementary school that I went to became the Olympic Village in 1960.
Wow.
So I'm coming back next year to Tokyo after the Olympics because there'll be too much people. I want to see the new structures and the infrastructures that they're going on right now to build for the Olympics. In Hawaii, many people know me as I'm a musician, I'm a producer, I'm a composer. Today at 7 o'clock I will unveil, premiere 4 songs about Ishigaki that I will present to people of Ishigaki, the Islander Summit. I have a Japanese
7
soul.
p.m. from tonight.
Tonight, yes, 7 o'clock. And he doesn't know, but he'll be dancing most of my songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, secret, okay? So don't tell me. So I'm known as a person in Hawaii. I've been in Hawaii for 4 years on Kauai. I've been in Hawaii altogether for 53 years. So I have a Japanese soul. I've adopted the Hawaiian heart that they embrace me with. But I'm an American spirit because I'm an American citizen. For 11 years, I served as the interpreter and liaison for Japan's greatest actor, Toshiro Mifune.
Oh.
For 11 years, I served as his interpreter, but more than that, I became his friend. He became my friend. Right now, I am also a liaison for the hula master of Japan. Everybody watched Huragaru. 見たことありますか？
裏がある。
はい。そのモデルの早川和恵先生、横浜。I'm her liaison right now. Hinano-san is a favorite hula dancer for Kaleinani Hayakawa. So I'm in a position today, and I am very honored to be here. Why? My position about health and well-being is because I'm involved with hula. In Japan, it's called Kenko to Bio no Hula. But now, it's beyond Kenko and Bio. It's becoming bunka. Japanese hula dancers, they dance very well. But one thing they need to understand is the depth of the culture that is involved in dancing. He's very involved in teaching that to many of our hula dancers from Japan all over. He comes to Japan 3-4 times. He has many, many fans and students in Japan.
Wow.
But he doesn't just teach how to do hula. It's come from your heart. You must understand. So this is why he's here. I selected him to come because he is an incredible representative, the perfect representative. And he brought also a hula dancer, Shannon. She is Mrs. Hawaii. Okay? So later on today at 7 o'clock, we will put on a show that we don't know what it's going to be until at 7 o'clock. That's how it works. Yes?
Yes.
So I appreciate this time so we can explain ourselves. So よろしくお願いします。梅津と申します。
Uwe-san, so what comes to your mind first when you think about the island and well-being?
Of course, I'm there. My music is my medicine,
What medicine?
medication. Guitar, my piano is my instrument to keep me healthy. I write one song a day.
Wow.
Yeah. Almost one song a day because that's my medication. And then I share that with people like him. He will put hula motion to the song and he shares it. So this is my way
To
of
stay well-being.
being the well-being on a very beautiful island called Kauai, just as beautiful as Ishigaki.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
So if you want to use the slide, so it's totally okay. So no slides. Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay. じゃあどうしますか。せっかくなんでじゃあ。
Thank you. Parlerò in italiano. Sono Enrico Salvatore Murgia. Sono sindaco del comune di Seulo in Sardegna, Italia.
Okay. My name is Enrico Salvatore Murga and I'm the mayor of the village of Seulo in Sardinia.
Vi parlo un attimo con due frasi che sintetizzano la mia isola.
I would like to introduce my speech using a sentence of a famous Italian artist which can introduce our islands.
La prima è di un famoso poeta, cantautore italiano che, innamorato della Sardegna, disse:
This famous singer was not Sardinian, but he felt in love for Sardinia, so he said this sentence.
la vita in Sardegna è forse la migliore che un uomo possa augurarsi. 24.000 chilometri quadri di foreste, campagne, di coste, immerse in un mare miracoloso, dovrebbe coincidere con quello che io consiglierei al buon Dio di regalarci come paradiso.
Okay. Life in Sardinia is maybe the best that a man could wish for himself. 24,000 square kilometers of beautiful environments, forests, fields, beautiful coasts, near a beautiful sea. Maybe should be something like I would like to suggest God to create us heaven.
L'altra frase di un altro poeta, molto più breve, diceva: la Sardegna è quasi un continente.
Okay, second sentence is smaller, shorter, and it said Sardinia is something, it's almost a continent. What does it mean? Sardinia is a huge island with many differences between every single part of the island. So it's something like a whole continent.
Io adesso proseguirò dopo con alcuni aspetti della qualità della vita che contraddistinguono la mia comunità e le comunità sarde in generale.
Later during our speech, I would like to introduce the philosophy of the people living in my village.
Sono felice di partecipare a questo summit, emozionato, riconoscente verso la comunità di Ishigaki e mi sento responsabile di poter e onorato di poter rappresentare la mia comunità e la mia isola. Grazie mille.
Okay, I'm very glad to be here to represent the community of my village and of the whole Sardinia island. And I would really like ishigaki people for inviting me here to do that. That's all.
Thank you. I'm just wondering, so how many of you actually visited Sardinia Island?
I haven't, but I've been close to.
Yeah, so as a public health researcher, so Sardinia Island is a very famous place and actually one of the first subject we studied. Because the Sardinia Island is well known for its longevity. People living in Sardinia Island live very long. So
In Italian language.
So it's called the blue zone.
Translation.
blue zone, so. Yeah, blue zone means the area, so where people live longer. So Okinawa is also one of the blue zones.
Yes.
So Mayor, so do you have any point of view about the island and well-being or happiness
Allora,
from your Sardinia experience?
nella tua esperienza esiste qualche filo conduttore tra la vita sulle isole e il benessere, lo stile di vivere bene?
Sì, direi che è il fulcro, il nesso, il centro delle difficoltà del vivere nelle isole ha portato una società del benessere ad esprimere principi di benessere che non trovi altrove.
Okay. He said yes. I believe that living in islands is full of difficulties, but these difficulties helped people to develop a different lifestyle and to enjoy their own life.
That's why, so living in island prevents people from getting access to the modern technologies or modernized goods. That it was said to be preventing the people living in island from getting ill due to the modern technology or modern the industrialized foods. So okay, anyway, so じゃあ三宅先生。
Hi, my name is Taku Miyake. I'm eye doctor and occupational health doctor. But my style is very unique. I don't use any eye drops and eye surgery. I use only iOS devices, for example, iPhone and iPad. I use iPhone and iPad for the untreatable patients. For example, blind people and blind children and learning disability children. How to use the iOS devices in their field, for example, educational field or workplace. And in the other world, my job is the designing of lifestyle of the various people. In my case, 8 years ago, I worked in Universe Hospital. In that time, I worked too long time. Karoshi, near the Karoshi. So I am very fat and my blood pressure is very high. But I can't treat and I can't help myself by terrible work style. And I quit the Universal Hospital doctor. I run my own company. I can help various people by my style. So I think the lifestyle is very important care or information for the everyone. So lifestyle, changing the lifestyle is getting the happiness and wellness.
Like from your experience, so
Yeah.
8 years ago, so
Yeah.
you decided to pursue your own well-being and change your lifestyle.
Yeah. And in Ireland, I use iOS devices. That the technology is very useful for the various people, but the technology is not help increase the happiness. The more important point is increasing the sense without the watching, smelling, and hearing. So in Ireland, the not digital information is very good. So catch the natural information is very more important care for the Japanese workers. Yeah, as a stress care. Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. So if you have any eye problem or health problem, he's for you. Okay, じゃあどうしようか。インドネシア。
So my name is Jaya. I'm a journalist. I'm a TV producer, film producer. I create TV commercials and etc. I'm working in media. So I don't have any specialty in this kind of well-being or happiness society, but I will try to share what is happening in Indonesia.
Oh, that would be nice.
So Indonesia is, as you may know, that we have 17,000 islands, 330 local culture, local language, food culture, and etc. So when you drive 1 hour or to different island, that means you are traveling to another world, another totally different culture, dance, and etc.
How about religion?
So to unite this all 17,000 island, our founding father make some foundations for the nation. One of it is there is a God. There's a God. So in Indonesia, your obligation is to have one religion. That you need to identify it in your ID card, whether you are Islam or Hindu or Buddha, Catholic or Christian. So there are 5 religions that are approved by the government, and you need to choose. You must choose.
Wow.
You must choose.
And that's on like an ID card?
Yes, in any ID card, because when you are something happen and you are dead, let's say if you are dead, you need to be buried by what?
Spiritual practice.
Yes, spiritual practice. So when we are talking about Indonesia, means that we are talking about the religion as well. So let's say in Bali, it's mostly about Hindu. So when we talk about Java, people in Java Island, maybe we talk about Islam and etc. But we are not Islamic country. So I'm here. I think I would like to provide some information about the reality of having a happy life. That is not just about the longevity or music or etc. Because in Indonesia, our life expectancy is very short. We die fast. 70 years old, we almost die. 70, around 70. But according to many surveys, Indonesia is one of the happiest country in the world. So what I read is maybe there is God in our life, so people, something happened, they just blame God. Because maybe God doesn't permit us to do that or to do this. Maybe. Second,
so you don't need to blame yourself. So
unfortunately, sometimes that happens. People blame God, or people blame the religion, or etc.
Okay.
Second, we don't have pension fund like in Italy or in Japan or in United States. So when you don't have pension fund, means that when you grow old, you retire, you better to die faster, or you ask your children to raise you, right? So people mostly say, rather than annoying my children and family, I rather die fast. So that's maybe the second reason why.
Why the
But
life
people,
expectancy?
life expectancy. But people still say, even I live short, we are happy. So I used to live in Jakarta for some time, then I moved to Bali. So every year I do my medical checkup. So since I moved to Bali, my doctor said, "Wow, your cholesterol is very good now. Oh, your health is very good now. Something must be happen when you move to Bali from Jakarta, from big city." So that thing, that's a really good reason why we choose to live in island, I think. But living in island doesn't mean that everything will be good, because when we live in island, that means I don't know in Japan or in Italy or in Hawaii, but people in Bali tend to be more lazier than people other than because maybe it's hot. So people, when we do meeting, we do it on the beach side. Yes, drinking mojito. We are not always on time. Something like that. So there are challenges. That is it a real? So I'm wondering, is it the real happiness? Is it something that connect losing times, losing things with work and things will lead to happiness or not? That some subjects that I would like to hear from this discussion.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
You know, so let's say this is well-being. In the opposite side, there's a well-doing, well-being and well-doing. Well-being is a kind of so you play a significant role to achieve some goals, like making money or getting the social change down. So that's a well-doing. But a well-being side, you don't need to play a significant role, or you don't need to pursue any goal. Just being yourself is okay. It's like, you know, relaxing at the beach with mojito. So, you know, the harmony between well-doing and well-being is said to be a key for achieving the good life.
So yeah, the good life, will it connect with economic prosperity or not? Things like that. Right?
Yeah.
You work hard for money, or you live for work, or you work for live.
It's amazing. Today we have a mayor that represents the island that lives a long time. It's called the Blue Zone.
Yes.
And you have another island that is happy. They like to go fast, live a short life, but go, right? And I think it has a lot to do with when you mentioned about a pension plan that we're fortunate maybe in Italy or United States and Japan may have. So that's something the government needs to understand. Do you provide that kind of pension fund for the citizens, right? So they could live happy and long. It seems like now you're happy to just live short, but
Yeah.
you know,
So it's
a contrast.
So, but is it better to live happy and long, or live happy and short?
Yeah,
That's the question, I think.
that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, interesting.
It does go back to hard topic. So usually most of the people do not have any good image about aging. So people, you know, don't want to be a burden for the family. But she saw a lot of good example. ね、年を取るっていう。なんかインドネシアだと家族の迷惑かけたくないから早く死んじゃえばいいっていう。
この世から出たいっていう、亡くなってもいい。
日本もでもほとんどそう。
ご迷惑かけなくない次の世代に。
そういう時ってどういうふうに働きかけるんですか？
私たちも若い私たちの世代もいつかはあなたみたいなその90歳100歳になった時にそうやって生き切るのが嫌だからあなたたちが幸せに生きないと私たちの未来がそうだっていうふうに教えられてる気がするから若い人たちの未来のことも思ってあなたがまず最初に幸せになってくださいっていうそう言ってます。
Japan is one of the first country where so the government is developing health policy based on the assumption that people in Japan will live up to 100 years old. So it's now called 100-year-old policies. So everywhere, so pension plan and healthcare systems. But I think the missing part would be we don't have any positive image of Asian yet.
Well, in Hawaii, if I could just share that, I look at this picture of this aging woman or man. On the bottom looks like a man. In Hawaii, we have this same, you see all these trees that are around us. In Hawaii, we call it lauhala. And we use it to do weaving like this. We weave mats. And when our kupuna are elders, they're seniors. So when our kupuna are aging and they're getting older and older and older, the kuleana, or the responsibility to take care of them, goes onto the family. It goes onto the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. And it is prized for us to malama and to take care of our kupuna. And I don't know if it's just because that's our way, and I'm talking about Hawaiians as a whole. I'm not talking about how our communities have been integrated with other nationalities. But in Hawaii, when our Hawaiian kupuna are aging and they get older, the kuleana belongs to us to take care of them. And it is a beautiful thing for us to do. And it doesn't matter how old or how ill they get. It becomes a part of our spiritual practice to take care of them. And what I'm getting at is, to us, someone that ages, right, and has all these lines on their faces, every line on their face represents something that they've gone through. It represents something that they've been through, whether it's a trial, a tribulation, or something great. When our kupuna gets old and they're as wrinkled as a lauhala mat, it's our kuleana to take that mat and allow ourselves to lift them up and celebrate their life. We also turn to health and wellness and the well-being of our culture by a lot of times taking ourselves back into time and looking at Hawaiian medicine, or what we call laulapa'au. And laulapa'au is utilizing plant-based products that grow all around our islands to help our kupuna ease pain. If their joints are bad, we make teas out of various fruits that we find in our, on our islands, and it's all a spiritual practice, but at the same time, there is a lot of love, and that's really what it comes down to. Is anyone that's going to serve their ohana, their family, is going to do it in a way that is filled with love. And many times it's not the whole family; it's just one person. And I think it's something that I feel very proud of to come from a culture that does that. My hula school stems from the belief of that practice, is taking care of our kupuna and Hawaiian medicine. But I think that there is, amongst this whole group, there is passion and there is love in aging. I think people are in fear of aging, and it's just when you are able to overcome that and realize that you are only here in this time and space, so why not be the greatest human being that you can be? And that really is loving life and having peace and happiness throughout aging. And that's just my mana. That's how I think. But
I want to live in Hawaii.
you should come. We have a lot of Japanese people who live in Hawaii. My hula school has about maybe 30 Japanese, and then Filipino, and then Hawaiian, and then Caucasian maybe 2. Yes. So and they're coming because they want to learn our culture, but they also want to learn about the things that we do as you know, as a teacher of hula, you're not just a teacher. You're a doctor. You're a lawyer. You're a you understand? You're everything. You're a psychiatrist. Your students are your babies, and you need to malama or take care of them. And many times when people get ill or they get sick, they turn to people like us, spiritual practitioners, to help pray, to help ease the pain, and to bring music and laughter and joy into difficult situations. You know? So that's what we do. So you're welcome to come to Hawaii.
So Western medicine is not good at managing the stress reduction or pain management. I think it's totally understandable for people to go to you
Yes.
to ease that pain.
I think there's a physical health and a spiritual health. You can live a long time, but are you happy? Right? You want to live a good life, be happy. So this is why when I mentioned earlier that I'm involved with the hula, whether it's Hawaii or whether in Japan. And in Japan, Korei Shakai, they want to move, so they want to dance hula. They play ukulele because there's motion, means you're moving your body. So it's very healthy. In Hawaii too, we go to all the senior centers, and then every township has 1 week. They have weaving, quilting, yeah, Hawaiian quilts, and then there's hula and there's a ukulele class. Why? It's because it keeps your mind going, and they're physical. You dance, so it's healthy. And this is why I'm here today to say that I thought hula was just dancing. But if you think about it, hula keeps you mobile. And it keeps you, because you have to learn the motion, so you use the brains. So it keeps the elderly alive, and then that way they're happy. Sometimes all the medicine you take is not going to take all the pain away, but sometimes you need the happiness, right, in your life. And that's why I think I'm still involved. I'm getting there myself. I'm in the Korei Shakai right now. I might start taking hula from him.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much for sharing that. So, okay. So
It's just such a great story. I'm Wira. I'm from Bali Island, so I'm Balinese. I'm just a local. Basically, I'm from village.
So you're the lazy ones.
Actually, no. So, yes, some people when they come to Bali, they said Bali are so lazy because we are busy. Actually, back scene.
Oh.
We're a really busy person. Actually, we actually didn't really work as like money making, but really work hard for our culture and society. So yeah, I mean, listening from the story of like Sardinia and also Kauai, it's exactly very similar. Our ancestor already give us a lot of like actually like well-being, wellness, healthy things, all of this nature, how you can use it as a human. But again, in Bali, I mean, our ancestors already create a system actually. For example, you said about the old elder were taking care of the young people. That's absolutely, because it's our elder, it's our parent, for example. You not abandon them. So in Bali, basically, we have this culture like patrilineal culture, where each of the family, you have like family temple, where we actually respect our ancestor there. So whenever that you have a son, your son will stay there. Whenever again your son have a son, your son will stay there until like 10 of generations. So you will not leave your family. So you will still
regardless of religion. So each family has.
Actually, I'm not really related with the religion because people blame us as a Hindu, but we actually are ancient, like belief, ancient culture, where it's already exact 1,000 years ago until now. But because of the influence by Indian and Chinese, they see us as a Hindu. Or you worship God, okay, like it's a Hindu. And international, they call us like Hindu. Okay, that's fine. But again, we are really busy in the society. So that's why when a lot of our friends coming from other island, they see a lot of, because a lot of hotel, for example, we have a lot of holiday. because every week we have ceremony, every day. We have daily ceremony, we have weekly ceremony, we have monthly ceremony, full moon, so that's why we are still alive. You know, our culture is still alive since 1,000 years ago. And as a Balinese, we can like, you know, balance everything. We're not that fully 100% happy, but we are also not fully 100% like sad or something. So it's like, because in every celebration we need to balance everything. We call Rua Bineda in Bali. So when you're born, you may be happy, have a baby, but when you have someone pass away, you may be a little bit sad. Everything celebrate in the ceremony. Yeah, so it's exactly, you know, like, because our ancestors are, you know, giving us lots of this kind of, like, we call it indigenous wisdom. We still using a lots of, you know, the natural and also the elder philosophy. But regarding the wellness and the healthy and elder right now, again, because of the impact from globalization, westernization, like tourism, it did change a little bit, but our government now strict a little bit in terms of, you know, like the cultural side of it. Because if we lost this kind of culture, yeah, a lot of elder will be abandoned, for example. So, because, yeah, like we need to taking care actually like the ancestor way of life, basically, you know, like bring back to basics and something like that. Yeah, that's but my background is basically I'm working with a lot of rural area. My background is rural development and also sustainable tourism. So that's why I'm working with a lots of villages all around 5 regions in Bali. So what I found as a young villager, I'm a farmer. I found a lot of this local community that they actually, I mean, they're already happy. I mean, like, even though right now we have like mobile and everything, because of they live with their family and they have the structure of the Balinese culture. For me, they're really happy. It's just they have so much ceremony, so that's a lot of work was abandoned sometimes. So that's why like doing things we are not good at, like I mean doing work, something like that, but doing our own spirituality, cultural things, we are really good at it. Yeah, that's a little bit story of Bali side.
So when we are talking about Indonesia, it's totally different
Totally
culture,
different, yeah.
different island means, different people.
So who
Yeah.
lives the longest in Indonesia? Is it the Bali people live longer than the other ones?
Yeah. So in Indonesia we have 260 million people now. In the between 13,000 islands, so many different culture. We are so different. Like we have like a totally different country. And that's why the way of thinking, the way the culture. But again, we have a similar kind of ancestor, where they taught us about, you know, sustainable living or natural things. But some island already impacted by consumerism, so they can't live without, you know, chemical, for example. They can't live without, you know, like bicycle or anything. But a lot of rural area, they are still using the ancestral way of living. I mean, not all over, but some of them. Like in the Papua, for example, they still alive like tribe that still exists until 100 years long. They're still using all of the natural medicine, for example. But again, because this time, yeah, we can't against the all of the technology, chemical globalization, climate change. It's again, you know, like it's a lot of big change also happening.
I'm just curious about what kind of dreams the children in Bali have.
Okay, so it's very interesting. I don't know in Kauai. I'm as a village young boy before. My dream is actually work and cruise, and work in the hotel and restaurant. Before, work in the hotel and restaurant, because that's the most people like a job in Bali, like hospitality. But again, now most of their dream again, like they only wanna have experience in their age of the 20 to 30. After 30, usually they marry in the 25 until 30. Then they going back to the village again because they need to go back. If you happy or not, you need to go back because it's a family line. If you abandon your family line, you will not survive as a spiritual way. You will be maybe a crazy. Yeah. For example, if I married, I will go back to my village. I cannot come here, for example. So I need to taking care of my temple, my house, my family, my grandfather, and something like that. Yeah. It needs to be like that if you really want to preserve the really long life culture and society. That's why when you come to Bali, you will see the different. Be a little bit outside of tourism area, you will see the different how life in Bali are, the cultural and stuff. It still exists until now.
So if you cross the family line and still stay in the, let's say, the Jakarta city, so you are totally away from your...
Yeah, they are. For example, if you have brother, so you will discuss it. If your brother will stay at home or yourself. So you will basically family decision making. But at least someone will stay in your family, because we can't sell our house. We can't, because our house has a temple, and that temple cannot sell. So we cannot sell our ancestor there, basically. Yes.
Right.
So that's why it's really strict in Bali. Yeah, and the community work is very strict. So when when someone, like for example, you have a ceremony, I need to help you. But when I have ceremony, you also need to help me. If you not help me, the community, whole community, not helping you. You kind of like, yeah, that's really strong this time. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit of the story. Yeah, about happiness. That's absolutely. It's quite different seeing of how we happy, because we kind of like just flow in our kind of like culture. Yeah, seeing happiness is already there. You know, like happiness is like there already. You know, with the family, with all of those things.
Thank you.
We need to change the concept of laziness.
Perception is
Perception,
based on how
yeah.
it's perceived.
Okay, so じゃあ、
Yes, my name is Takashi Maeno. I'm working for Keio University. I'm a researcher of well-being. But before that, I used to be a researcher of robotics, engineer. And I was trying to make mind of robots, but I changed to research a mind of humans.
which is easier.
Both are different. Yeah,
Robot.
making
The
the
human
robot.
makes the robot.
If we understand humans, then we can make robots. Without understanding humans, we can't make robots. And there are many coincidences. I was grown up in Hiroshima.
ああ、そうなんだ。
Hiroshima is a big island. It's not an island, but Hiroshima. Yeah, I'm a second generation of the. My father was attacked. No, not attacked. He was lucky. He at the atomic bomb. He was somewhere else, and at the next day he came back to Hiroshima. So he was the first generation. My wife is also a second generation. Her father was in Nagasaki. So we both are in relation to atomic bomb. So I'm surprised to hear that. And I also like to go to Bali several times. I often go to Hawaii. And I went to Italy for my honeymoon. So I'm so interested in everything. And as I've been doing research on well-being, especially subjective well-being, human spiritual well-being, let me show you several statistic results. One is that happy people live longer. This is famous. If you are happy, then people will live longer. So I don't know why. You live happy, but maybe there are other things. And the other statistics is that age and happiness graph. It shows that U-shaped shape. So
You mean there is a mid-crisis?
yeah. 40 to 50 years old people are the unhappiest. And young people are happy, they become unhappy, but old people are happier and happier than, so 60, 70, 80, 90. So you will become happier. Yeah, that's very interesting. People feel that if you get older, you are unhappy, but it's not true. If you ask by questionnaire, older people are happier. That's related to your results. And the third thing is that people who believe in religions are happier than people who don't believe in religions. That's a result of many countries. But in Japanese people don't believe religion. We don't know if we are Buddhist or Shinto or Christian, because we celebrate Christmas, and then at the last day of the year it's Buddhism, and the first day of January we go to shrine. So it's interesting. Japanese custom is maybe different.
We do a lot of religious related activities. So we are activity based religions. Not belief based.
Okay, that's a good one.
Which is still faith. So that's still very good.
I see. Event-based
Religious.
and also there's another statistic that achievement will affect well-being. So you said well-doing is different from well-being, but sometimes well-doing will affect well-being. So you said in Bali you just enjoy your life, but in Japan maybe they want to accomplish something. But both of them can be in relation to well-being, but we have to think about that. Yeah, just enjoy your life, just achieve to make income. Yeah, so that's the topic in Islander Summit. Are there any statistics? Yeah, that's all. I remember. No, there are many research, as you know, there are many research results in relation to this topic.
But Japanese live longer,
Yes.
but they are one of the unhappiest nation.
Yeah, in World Happiness Record.
Yes.
Paradox. So Indonesia and Japan. So paradox.
But you want to die. Young.
Yeah, I think the achievement as well. I think because for me, well, I have been talking about this with my friends. It's about all when we achieve that, when we already achieved it, what we want to achieve, then it's okay to die then.
So I have a question for the mayor from Sardinia. Is now we're going to go back to the spiritual we talked about, but going back to the physical health. Now you're on an island. Do you eat more, because you're an island, you must have access to fish, seafood. Do you eat more seafood than, let's say, meat? Because
È una bella domanda, no?
Good question.
In realtà tutti i medici nutrizionisti che hanno visitato Seul e hanno visto il nostro cibo hanno avuto tutti la stessa, hanno fatto tutti la stessa considerazione.
Okay. In fact, all scholars and scientists which visited his village asked the same question, and after observing people lifestyle.
La considerazione è che se gli altri popoli mangiassero quello che mangiamo noi, vivrebbero 20 anni e non 100.
Okay. These scientists say that if other people from other countries would eat the same food as Seul people, they would live 20 years, not 100, because their food are unhealthy. They think. Yes, to answer your question,
Yes. And we
use eating more meat than fish.
Meat.
wow.
Yes.
Sì, noi mangiamo un po' di tutto, ma anche la carne molto grassa.
Okay. Seul village is a pastoral community, so it is in the middle of Sardinia,
Okay.
far from the sea, and they used to eat a lot of meat, also very fat.
Stiamo studiando adesso con l'università, alcune università della Sardegna e alcune anche europee, il fatto che non sia il cibo ma la capacità di digestione. Si chiama microbiota intestinale, è un nuovo organo.
Okay, he wants I live in difficult. He's saying difficult things for me to translate, but
Please try.
okay,
Yeah.
I try. We are starting some studies with Sardinian University and other European university about the digestive process, and so some scholars think that digestion is more important than food.
Wow. Okay.
But they are starting this.
Thank you.
Okay, another. When you discussed before, we thought two different things. First one is that it seems that Sardinia, Kauai, and Bali has been separated by some natural disaster because we are very, very similar, and we have similar traditions, similar lifestyles. We like enjoy life, we like be lazy.
Yes.
And the second one, and he said, this gentleman said that the good behavior is good for live longer, and he said you should not live longer. You are Japanese, but the major said in our community also hungry people lives long.
I guess. I see movies.
We have many examples, he said. È quello che mi hai detto prima, che anche la gente cattiva da voi vive a lungo.
Anzi si dice che la gente cattiva non muore mai.
There is a proverb in Sardinia, which translated in English said, the bad people will never die.
I have a question for you. In Hawaii, we have, especially our island, we have bountiful water, and our water is very nutritious. And so for us, we find that our water is very healing, very good. Do you folks have, natural water, springs, and what are the minerals and the vitamins that found within it? Must be good.
Must be good if you live long.
In sostanza, dice da noi a Kauai ci sono delle sorgenti d'acqua di una qualità molto buona che ci permettono di vivere bene. Si chiedono adesso da voi.
Sì, c'è acqua naturale alcalina, poco alcalina, però beviamo vino. Wine.
Please translate. We want to know what are you talking about. We're curious. Okay.
No water.
Only wine. Oh, is that what he said?
kidding.
Oh, okay. Vino, right?
Vino.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Vino prodotto da noi.
Okay.
Prodotto proprio in...
He said, yes, we have springs, we have very good natural mineral water, and we use it to drink that water, but mostly we drink wine.
Oh, yeah. Over here, it's awamori.
L'acqua
Yeah. Same.
E qui abbiamo questo liquore
Spirit.
di ishigaki con le uova mori.
And they live long time too, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just like in that other, what's that other country? Puerto Rico? Not Puerto Rico, the Portuguese. They live long as well. And there are wine consumers.
Vivono a lungo e sono consumatori di vino. Yes,
ascoltando voi, Bali, Ishigaki, Kauai, mi rendo conto che siamo più vicini al vostro modo intendere la vita, di pensare, piuttosto che ai nostri connazionali milanesi, lombardi, romani, molto più...
Attend this summit, this discussion, I understand that we Sardinians, we are more similar to you, to Bali people and to Kauai people and the ishigaki people, instead of Italian people living in the mainland.
Right. You're an island. Wow, it's amazing.
I have another question. Statistics say that good people live longer.
Yeah.
Kind people and good people live longer. And you said bad people live longer.
They don't
I'm confused. Is it true? Yeah.
Okay, Sardinia is made for make you in difficulties and create problems to you and to statistics. You know that in Japan you have a lot of women centenarians. In Italy we have many, no, it is almost the same. Men and women are very different. So statistics are very different.
I see. Yes. You have to do research.
So I learned now that the perception, the world thinks the Japanese live longest because they eat seafood, right? Because you have abundant seafood and you have a fishing industry. Kauai, we're surrounded by water. We don't really have a fishing industry. We eat a lot of meat as well. We got McDonald's, you know, as well, right? So, but now I learned, and this is so obvious, is that he was talking about his digestive. The physical makeup of people are different. Japanese people maybe take too much meat. They may not live as long as people in Sardinia because the physical makeup, especially in the digestive system. So they're prone to eating, they're so used to eating vegetables, fresh vegetables, and seafood. Whereas their physical makeup is that they could handle the intake of meat because they're so far away from the ocean, the Sardinia village, where you're the man.
Sul nostro stile di vita e l'ha confrontato anche a Hawaii, dice noi siamo un'isola ma non abbiamo più carne e pesce.
I also have a question for the year. So, is there any very unique cultural activity or tradition in Sardinia which might contribute to the well-being?
Ci sono degli aspetti culturali, delle tradizioni che favoriscono il benessere, qualità della vita.
Having a lot of ceremonies.
Come cerimoni, tradizioni, sì.
La Sardegna non è un'isola con una grande longevità in generale. Sono le popolazioni della montagna, di alcune popolazioni della montagna che hanno queste caratteristiche.
I start. He said, in Sardinia, longevity is not spread everywhere in all the whole island, but mostly in the mountains area.
Sono da ricercare, cioè i motivi della longevità sono legati all'attività lavorativa, pastorale e ai luoghi inversanti, quindi sempre in attività. L'uomo seulese sta sempre progettando il futuro anche a 95-96 anni.
Ti ha chiesto tutti gli aspetti culturali.
Okay. Culturali.
Okay, he said in Sardinia, people in mountains area, many people used to work hard and so have a continuous body activity. And because
move up and
yes,
down.
up and down, going up and down, exactly. L'attività fisica è
Attività fisica e progettualità, cioè il progetto, culturalmente stanno sempre progettando.
okay. In his village, also elder people is still thinking to the future. What should I do next year? What should I do in the future? they are not just enjoying the present, but they are thinking to the future.
Zio Luigi, 98 anni, non mi ha fatto aprire una finestra sul suo terrazzo perché doveva costruire ancora lui. Se riesce a spiegare.
He wanted to modify his home in the village, but his neighbor, which is a man, a 98-year-old man, said, "No, you can't do that because I want to let my house grew up. I want make it bigger, my house." And he was 98 years.
He has a lot of plans. Wow.
Però voglio dire anche una cosa culturalmente. Quando questo è il mio vicino di casa, zio Vincenzo Murgia, quando muore un anziano, quando muore un centenario, è come se bruciasse una biblioteca. C'è una perdita enorme per la comunità.
This man is used to live near my house, and when he died, and also when a centenarian died in his village, it's like a big part of the history of the village died, like a library barns. Because a huge part of the memory of the village died with the people, with the old people.
È importante per noi la custodia, il rispetto per l'anziano, perché è custode della nostra memoria.
So we are, for us, it's very important to respect all the people, because they preserve the memory of the village.
So one common ground is to respect the elderly people and to enjoy the aging and have a lot of plan for the future. So.
I have a question for the Indonesian participants is public transportation. In public transportation, to me, on Kauai we have very limited public transport. We have bus, we have no train. So what happens is that if you don't have good public transportation, you tend to buy a car and you drive every place and you not walk. Japan has the most sophisticated public transportation, whether it's bus, you got cabs, you got trains. So what happens is people really walk to the station, walk from the station to your workplace. So that's a lot of physical exercise that people in Hawaii, especially in Kauai, Honolulu has a little bit better because it's more population, yeah? So what happens is that I'm seeing that more and more people, we got more cars. That means it congests the traffic, more cars. Everybody's got, one family has 3 cars, 4 cars, because the son, the daughter, the parents, and even the grandparents sometimes buy a car.
That's not
So what
good for
happens? It's not,
environment.
for the environment and for your physical.
Right.
Because I come to Japan and go to Tokyo, I walk to the train station, to the stores, right? And how is the transportation in Indonesia?
So actually, a whole night I was thinking of it also, just tonight. I really want to also solve the issue of the public transportation particularly in Bali and also Indonesia.
You use a lot of bike.
Yeah, so in Bali we have a lot of bike because again we are hilly, and then kind of like we are spread up, and then to go to other places we usually to bike, and that's easier.
Motorbike?
Yeah, motorbike, and also car, most of it. and also we are not really walking people. So that's why we are lazy.
You know, lazy one.
Yeah. So in terms of walking, mostly like just get to the bike and then go to the even like go to in the front we use bike. It's like it's very. But again, it has a lots of big issue on the environment that I was not thinking so much about how I can convince government on building kind of like policy or maybe convince them to use kind of like system of public transport. I mean they've done it, but again because the education and the mindset and also the system problem is quite big there. But yeah, I mean I also want to share a little bit about the elder situation. So why we are kind of like in Indonesia have a short life. Okay, first it's also a lot of like car accidents sometimes.
Right.
But the biggest one is about food. Most of our food are cooked and cooked with sometimes it bad oil. So and you know like that has a lots of issue with the healthy, and also you know like the green revolution. It's happening all over the world. I don't know it's happening in Sardinia. You know green revolution? So green revolution is when your country introduce pesticide and introduce chemical. So that is green revolution, where actually people thinking about, you know, you are actually green, but actually it's not. You're changing all of the biodiversity in your country. What you call introducing the GMO seed to your country. So that's a green revolution. What's happening after the green revolution in 1970 something in our country, we starting the aging or drop down because of the food. Because like the sweet corn is actually GMO, for example. It's not really good for our health. A lot of people, like a farmer, get cancer, something like that. So the food, it's the biggest reason. And I talked to a lot of doctors, and a lot of villages say, you know, because of the food. Yeah, the third one is also, I mean, I see that because of the kind people and because of the culture, they actually live long. Because of they will meet with family every time. Even though the family will stay outside, they will always come to see the parent, because the parent always happy if they see their kids and you know the daughter, the granddaughter, and something like that. That also, my grandparent, they still live, and like last time like I have a great grandparent like 100 years. She just passed away, and then she lived long because of her food is good. Yeah, because of the things. But this time I have a grandfather, still lives. Now he's 75 years. He's good, but my grandmother is not good because she eat lots of fried food and stuff. Yeah, and she got stroke easily. So basically that kind of impact for the elder. Why we said it's short, because of, you know, food is the biggest thing.
We don't eat vegetables.
We didn't eat a lot of vegetable
But
because
you grow vegetables.
We grow, but we don't eat. We don't eat it because of the logistic.
Yeah. Also, the biggest problem, we eat this much rice and this vegetable, this big of amount vegetable. Like that's how we eat. You know, we have like 3 to 5 times rice. Then meat is only piece of meat. That's it. Yeah, that's what we use. And then this piece of meat cooked with like some vegetable and like a lot more oil and stuff. That's what happened in spice.
So
It's
hot all day, every year. So all the cook should be fried or not fresh or not raw.
Yeah.
It's hot, humid.
So the government is not doing anything about bringing in these.
With the help, we are doing the movement of more organic things, like organic rice, you know, introducing the red rice and all this kind of stuff right now.
And the problem is it's expensive.
Yeah, it is
to get better vegetables and etc.
When you say that you grow the vegetable but you don't eat it, is that you're telling us that?
No, we eat the vegetables, but by frying it, not
fresh.
not
You
fresh,
don't-
not
I
salad,
see.
Not like
not
salad.
salad. So we cook it with oil and
But that's a tradition, right? Is that part of your?
But because of the lots of chemical, like oil, for example, you know, like the thingy from oil, we can't really use this oil for 2-3 times, right? For example, just one time. But Indonesians sometimes use it for 4 times in their family, so it's like it's bad also for the health. Yeah.
Refried oil.
Yeah,
You know,
refried oil.
And thank you for mentioning about the bike. We don't have too much motorcycles like you have, but we do have bikes.
Bikes, yeah.
25 years ago, our mayor at that time said, I'm could see a very healthy community. So she created the bike lane. Because she said she never rode a bike, but she thought that she could visualize a healthier lifestyle. So we have, throughout the island, we have a regular car lane, but there's a bike lane. I've never seen one person on the bike. So 25 years ago, yeah, she might be a visionary. See, she's a visionary, but she doesn't even ride a bike for herself. So what happens is, this is where I'm getting at, is the government needs to really understand the community instead of putting a lane. It costs a lot of money, I bet, because it's still there, right? Bike lanes. Maybe I see once a month is somebody on it, but it's, to me, it's wasted funding. They could have used for something else.
Because I think that's what is the important private sector design with the government sector,
yes.
because they will be seeing the gap. Because sometimes, okay, the government have money and we have this project and just implement it.
Yeah.
That's what's happened a lot also in our island. Where,
We need more collaboration, that's
yeah,
for sure.
that's
Are
why
your tourists happy when they visit?
not at all. So that's why, I mean, there are some places are really good, but in the city area, it's so much crowd, you know, with the bike and stuff. Like Thailand, you go to Thailand. But yeah, like this conversation, I hope that, you know, Ishigaki can take something from this, so they can implement better way on, you know, managing their island, because I don't want to see like others kind of like mismanage like Bali's kind of side here. Because if you mismanage and no master plan and also no community engagement in the master plan, will be just messed up.
So Indonesia is awarded with the worst traffic jam. Jakarta is awarded with the worst traffic jam in the world.
I've seen it. It's been a
And that creates a lot of pollution, right?
Yes, but unfortunately, this problem cannot be solved in a very short time, because we are developing countries, means they are low income, middle income, and very rich people. So now, when you are talking about developing countries, mean low income people will go to middle and rich. So when people have money, they will have, they want to buy the bike, they want to buy house, bike or car. That's the dream of low income people. So as we are developing, then that's why Toyota, Honda, and it's a very big market for them.
But is that gas emission cars, or are we talking about solar?
Yes,
Gasoline.
gasoline.
It's not good.
It's not good.
So it won't be solved in any time soon for Indonesia.
That's another concern, because you know what, gas emission, it's not healthy to live in that kind of an environment.
Well, of course, they are trying to have this electrical vehicle, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So we have a Ishigaki High School students, so
Nah.
why don't we invite them to
speak.
present their
Let them.
perspective on the, you know, the well-being, or ちょっと来てもらっていいですか？日本語でいいので、せっかくなので。あ、二人とも。ぜひそのお二人から見て石垣島の人たちは幸せなのかどうなのか。お年寄りを見てて自分もああなりたいなと思うのかとか。
ばあちゃん、じいちゃんと、
そうばあちゃんじいちゃん。
So like how many people live here?
ああそう石垣島って何人ぐらい住んでるの？5万人。じゃあちょっとなんか石垣島の人がそう私が今どういう不満を持ってるのかとか島に。
どうだろう、でもなんかたまに道でうろついてる人いるじゃないですか、夜とかフラフラになってから
徘徊してる。
なんかおじいちゃんおばあちゃんが認知症かなんか、それはちょっと怖いなって思います。なんか
車にひかれてるか、
そうとか、なんか結構石垣市の公式 LINE とかで行方不明になってますみたいなの出るんですよ、たまに。そういうなんか連絡が来るんで大丈夫かなって心配にはなったりします。
こんなに元気なお年寄りがいますよみたいな LINE で来ないですか？
ないですね、それは。でもなんかカチャ足とか、おじいおばあだったら結構踊ったりしてるんで、そういう踊る、なんか自分踊るのは好きなんで、そんなダンス部とかそんなのは全然ないんですけど、 なんかみんなでなんかまとまって楽しいことやるっていう文化は羨ましいなって思います。
ありがとうございます。どうですか。島に対する不満とか男の足りなとかありますか。
島のおじいちゃんおばあちゃんが結構キャンプ場行ったりしたら結構話すんですけど、その時ね、幸せだって今の状況は。だけどやっぱそういう人たち結構戦後のあの時代から生きてるんで、もっといろんなところ行ってみたかったみたいなことをよく聞くんですよね。だから狭い世界だと自分は幸せだけど、もっと広い世界で見た時の自分をもっと知りたかったみたいなのを大体のおじいおばあは話します。
後悔があるんです。それを聞いてどういうふうに思うんですか。
そうですね、自分たちは動けるような状態なんで動いていきたいのと、あと狭い世界にいるとやっぱりおじいおばあみたいに安定的に優しく暮らせるのはもちろんなんですけど、なんて言うんだろう、動ける状況ならもっといろんな世界を見てから進路とか決めても遅くないんじゃないかって。
アドベンチャー。
アドベンチャー。
今おいくつっていうより高校生ですか。高校生ですか。高校2年生。
はい。
未来はここですか。それともやっぱり都会に行くとか大学とかもう決まりました。海外。Going to abroad。してその大学終わったらなぜ僕が質問化するかっていうのを、河合島も河合島には短大があります。だけどそこ以上に海外とかアメリカ本土に行きます。そして卒業したら河合島に戻ってこない。次の世代の人がいなくなる。それで人口が現地の人の人口が減るけど、観光の人たちが好きで土地を買って私たちの土地税が上がる。そういう問題がある。石垣へ戻ってくるつもりですか。
石垣に戻ってくるのは年取ってからかなって。なんで年取ってからっていうと、なんかその高校生の立場からして石垣島って結構遊ぶとことかが少ないんですよ。なんかもう東京に住んでる友達とかは海行けるからいいじゃんとか言うんですけど、海暑いから行かないんですよ。
現地の人行かないんだよね。わかる。
で、暑いから行きたくないから、じゃあ他に何しようってなった時に、なんか一応あるっちゃあるんだけど、物価も高いし、その高校生とかお金もあんまりないから遊ぶとこも少なくて家にこもるみたいな。
河合島と全く同じです。
でも河合と中学3年生の時に行ったんですけど、めっちゃ楽しかったですよ。なんかお祭りっていうか、そうとかあって、なんかそういうのがもっとあったらいいのにとか思いました。
こちらはどうですか。未来を見て大学は海外とか行きます。それともまだ決まってない。
成り行きで。でも世界を見たいっていうのはあります。
そうですね。だけど将来未来土地に戻ってくるっていう計画はありますか。
そうですね。土地出身は俺北海道。
あ、北海道ですか。北海道には戻るつもり。
はい、やっぱ地元が。
地元に戻るね。そちらは地元ここでしょ。あ、東京なんですか。石垣じゃないの。中学の時に
母が石垣の。
So what is interesting about this subject is, so 2 months ago I made a TV commercial in Indonesia with Bali as background. So I did a lot of interview with Balinese high school students. 99% of Balinese high school students said they don't want to go to Jakarta. They want to live in Bali. They don't want to go anywhere else. So I asked, but what's your dream? I want to be an artist. I want to be a TV presenter and etc. When you are talking about entertainment industry, that means that you need to go to Jakarta. But they said, no, Bali local TV is okay. I don't need to go to Jakarta. So that's very interesting. Surprise us as outsider.
That's interesting because
yes.
The aspiration level for the young ones haven't really changed. Because was it you or mentioned that my dream was to be working in a hotel and service industry
in Bali?
In Bali, right? What about the future? Is it's got to be more than
No, they don't want.
They don't want
They
that?
don't want only in there.
They're happy with that?
Yes, very
That's,
happy.
that's most of our
We
young
are
people.
satisfied with
Yes.
status quo.
Because of trend this time. There are trend of young people working in the hotel and restaurant in Bali.
That's a cool.
They are cool.
Oh, okay.
You're as a cool person working in Bali.
So
Yeah.
they are proud of the island.
But
That's
most of
very
them,
very important.
because also as a Balinese, we are not a traveler. We are as Icelanders that stay in our island.
I see.
So because we need to take care of our family and married. Usually it's a lot of young marriage that you need to stay in the, and also in the economic gap. So that's also one of the things. We are not a big traveler. That's why when people see I'm outside right now, a lot of people are like, why you are going out? Like, yeah.
They realize that people around the world come to Bali, so why do I need to go out from Bali? Exactly.
That's also.
So Bali is quite a special island, I think.
We too also have a lot of local people that don't leave. They don't leave even our island. Even if it's an 18-minute flight to Oahu, they have never been. All of their life is only on Kauai.
Wow.
Yep.
Yes.
Although it's only 18 minutes.
18-minute flights.
18.
But
Honolulu.
their whole life
It's on
is
Kauai.
only on us.
Stuck in the.
So there are similarities.
How about Sardinia? So, how about the young people in Sardinia? So,
Abbiamo più o meno gli stessi problemi di Ishigaki. Noi siamo una grande isola, ma abbiamo solo 1,5 milioni di abitanti.
As she said before, Sardinia has similarity with Ishigaki. We are a huge island, but we are very few people. We are about 1.5 million or 1.7 million people.
Le occasioni, abbiamo delle università molto buone, ma spesso si preferisce andare nel continente italiano o europeo.
There are important universities in Sardinia, but often young people prefer to go to the Italian mainland or maybe abroad.
Mancano per i laureati, per i cervelli, mancano le occasioni di lavoro nell'isola.
So in Sardinia there is a big problem of finding job. So people after degree prefer and cannot find some job in Sardinia and have to go out in Italy or abroad.
È anche però il momento, quando vanno fuori, dove il sardo riconosce la qualità della vita in Sardegna, verificando cioè che
Okay. After experiencing life abroad, Sardinian people understand how better is life in Sardinia.
abbiamo poi
We miss Sardinia.
i problemi sul traffico e l'inquinamento sono concentrati in alcune città, ma sono molto deboli rispetto ad altre situazioni, come mi dicevo, Giacarta o Tokyo.
Traffic jam and pollution is not such a big problem in Sardinia, just in bigger cities, but not an important level. Bigger problems are infrastructure, our streets, there are trains. We have just few lines, few train lines, and very old. So we need to take a bus or drive our car.
Il viaggio per arrivare a Ishigaki è stato molto lungo. ma la parte più difficile del viaggio resta sempre quella dal mio paese, che è isolato, all'aeroporto di Cagliari.
Okay, that and the trip to come here in Ishigaki has been very long, but the most difficult part for Major was the first part from his village until the Cagliari airport.
Vorrei dire un'altra cosa sul cibo e longevità. Forse prima abbiamo dato un'immagine sbagliata.
Okay. He wants to come back for a while to the food issue. Maybe before we joked and we gave you a wrong image of food in his village in Sardinia.
Tutto il cibo, no, che puoi assaggerare. Soprattutto il cibo nelle montagne è autoprodotto da animali che sono liberi, sono liberi di pascolare. Quindi.
Okay. The most part of the food that we eat in our village is made, we say, 0 kilometer. So everything is grew in the neighborhood, in our gardens, in our fields, and also animals lives free and eat natural products.
Abbiamo un'agricoltura e un allevamento privo di pesticidi e farmaci.
And our agriculture and our animals grew up without using pesticide or chemical products. So maybe that's true that we eat fat meat and something like that, but everything is natural, so not so bad.
La dieta è molto variegata, anche se ci sono anche elementi.
Okay. So our diet is various, and also we eat seasonal vegetables. So we don't use to eat in every part of the year the same vegetables, the same food, but we eat the seasonal vegetables. So we respect the nature and the rhythm of the nature, the cycle of the nature.
In Hawaii, everything is imported. And to have sustainability within our environment and within our community, to eat what is fresh is very expensive. And I say that because the cost of living in Kauai, is extremely high. If you desire farm to table, it's local people don't even, it's not even something we think about because it's that expensive. For example, a pineapple farmed in Mexico is $4 US dollars, and a pineapple farmed in Hawaii is $40. So when you think about farm to table, a lot of times people, we'd love to eat our fresh beef and our fresh, but we can't afford it, you know, to eat it on a daily basis. Our government has a lot of laws in place so that these businesses have to pay their workers at a higher rate. So that all of that goes into play. So our visitors do get the large majority of our fresh farm-grown products because they are on vacation and they can eat a steak for $80. Whereas USDA prime beef that comes from California would cost us $10. So for us on our island, if you could just imagine, every single thing that we need is imported. Nothing is really made on our island with the exception of cookies that are, you know, that every ingredient for that cookie comes from the mainland. you know.
So there is really not a true kawaii product.
Yes, it's very, very expensive. We have kawaii shrimp, we have beef, we have vegetables, we do have produce. But if you're going to a supermarket, everything would be imported. And your choice would be either imported or very expensive.
Instead of local. So this is where we mentioned about the government has all these responsibilities, the tax. So that's where the pension, things like that comes into play. Because eventually, let's say out of $1, maybe 3 cents goes, but there's other insurance, disability, right? Workers need compensation, so it adds up. So that's in the price that you pay for the products.
But the happiness is in the lower bill,
Yeah.
right?
You go for
we don't mind.
Very interesting, but that's the truth. We can't deviate from the truth. It's really unfortunate, but that's what we face on Kauai.
So I have one question for Miss
Yurina.
Yurina. So last year I went to Nagoya for filming an elderly facility. I stayed there for 1 month, sleeping with them and basically living with them. With people 80, 90 years old at the elderly facility. That's one reason why I don't want to live that long, by seeing them, how they live.
What was your biggest learning from staying in that facility?
What I learned is I don't want to live long. So my question is, as you are working at that kind of facility, how long do you want to live?
Yeah.
行きたい？私が行きたいか。
何歳まで行きたいか。
118。
Even you are working with the elderly person, you are daily.
だからこそそう思う。
Even more so because of that, yeah.
Really?
Because she sees the positive side, and you saw the negative side.
Well, some of them only sleep on bed. So.
私の施設では寝たきり、自分で起き上がれない人がいても絶対寝たきりにはしない。ちゃんとお散歩に行ったりとか、一緒にお祭りに行ったりとか、桜が咲いたら桜を見に行くっていうのをすごく大切にしていて、で今その何を食べるかっていう話をしてたと思うんですけど、日本の老人ホームである研究をして、朝ごはんにみんな卵を食べるじゃないですか。その卵、A ホームと B ホームでやって、A ホームは月水金で、その月曜日、水曜日、金曜日は卵焼きにして、で他の曜日はスクランブルエッグにするっていうが A ホームで、で B ホームは毎朝その卵料理を何にするか選べる。
自分たちで決めるんです。
本人が毎朝決めるっていう。A ホームはだから同じものを食べて、どっちも同じものを食べてるんだけど、調理法を自分で選択できるかどうかで、B ホームが明らかに健康レベルが高くなったっていうなんか実験があって、何を食べるかも大事だけど、それと同じくらいどうやってダイエット食べるかみたいなとこの方が、そこもすごく大事だなと思ってる。
So you don't mind that in the future you will be one of them?
日本もまだ課題があって、日本のほとんどはまだハッピーじゃないと思う。私はそう思う。けど私の将来がハッピーになりたいから、今ハッピーな高齢者をたくさん作ってるみたい。
How is it to be a happy elderly from your perspective? In case I live long.
You probably will.
Yeah, you know, bad people will never die. Just kidding.
Get down.
なんかその自 自分の人生の舵取りは自分でするべきだと思っているから、舵取りが最後までできる人が多分幸せだと思ってる。それは他の人から見て、いやそれは不幸せだよとか幸せじゃないなって周りの人はもしかしたら思うかもしれないけど、本人が決めていることがすごく大事だなと思うから、なんかその今日何色の服が着たいかとか、今日何時に起きたいかっていうところも含め、そういう小さいところも本人が決めれるっていうのを保証したい。
Sense of control ですね。Sense of control.
So it is very important to have a sense of control, to be happy, feel happy for even the small thing that deciding.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that level pretty soon, so I would like to have her to take care of me, you know? Somebody who's positive and look at the brighter side of life.
So she's trying to make everyone elderly happy.
Okay, so it's almost time. So I think this session is not, this session is not to convert the idea, but to diverse the idea. So we did a good job, and we learned a lot. Clearly, there were these two villages, island, different from Ishigaki and Sardini in terms of the young people situation. So we learned a lot of commonalities as well as the differences. So and maybe conclusion might be to have her in the later life.
That would be the conclusion.
That would be the conclusion.
We need more of her.
Right.
We
Exactly.
need to clone her.
Right.
To get many like her, because she's very positive about life,
Right.
and she sees patients every day, yet she wants to live 118. Oh yeah. I have a comment which has it has a lot to do with everything we talked about. And this has to do with, as I said, I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at. I'm blessed to be, I do have a soul of Japan that I grew up with, and also have adopted the heart of the Hawaiian people, and then the spirit of the American spirit. I didn't say Trump, okay? I just said but see, one of the things that for many years, I was born bilingual because I went to an American school, then I lived off base, so it was a natural for me. And all these years, as Japan, since the Olympics, 1964, I was there. I'd seen how Sony and Hitachi, and it was that year, the Panasonic, right? Become from Matsushita to Panasonic. So the Japan has increased. It's a global power. But one of the things about 25 years ago that I stood up and spoke to Monbusho, people in the Ministry of Education. And as I travel to Japan many times to go to communities, I'm invited to go these places. I see English students, see in elementary, or not elementary, high school, the teachers didn't know how to speak English. And they were teaching the students. And I think that is wrong. My feeling is that we have a teacher who only learned by the books. They read the books, they say, my name is this is a pen. It's still in this world. If Japan wants to move forward beyond the China and Korea, all you gotta look at is their global TV. All the newscasters from Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, I watch the global news. NHK have some, but they're not even Japanese. They hire people from abroad. So this impacts everybody's life to me. Indonesian people were able to converse with us in English. I know that people from Italy, it's alphabet, right? Even though we don't understand, maybe we can understand by looking at it. So Japan, because I am very pro-Japan, to help Japan to become higher quality in the English department. Everything else, technology, like what she works in, the studies, right, well-being, you guys are tops, Japan. But when it comes to the language, you're far behind. And that needs to be addressed, my feeling. And I wish I could be here to, I started my own program. It's called Eigo Mura, with three of the four sister city. The mayor calls me to say, please do a program. It's not about Monbusho. I gave up Monbusho. I'm sorry. So this is why my feeling is that Japan could go ahead if they would learn more English from a teacher that knows English. So that's my thought, and I'm very honored to be here. To be able, first time in my whole life I was able to express that.
There is truth to that. I would like to tag on to that and just say that, you know, as islanders, we're very emotional people. We really move with the tides of the water and the oceans that surround us. And we all have these traditions about moons and rising suns and all of that. There's religion and there's great belief, but there's a lot of intonation I hear in the way that we all speak as islanders. And the intonation evokes a emotion. And that is definitely something that people from mainland do not understand, is that there is meaning behind the intention that islanders share when they express themselves. And it is an intention that could be extremely meaningful, that where someone who does not come from an island could never understand. And so it's not really just about Japanese or mainland America. It really is about humans in general, that in order for them to really connect with people, and I think that's what this is really about for me, is that we don't need to come from any space in which Bali or Sardinia, it doesn't matter where you're from. What matters is that you can respect the beliefs of others and that you can connect on an emotional level. And only then can people be really proud about what they represent, who they are, and where they came from. You know, the history and knowing who you're connected to from generations to come. And I think a lot of times mainlanders are a little disconnected. You ask them where they're from and it's literal. I'm from here, but really, where are you from? Who made you the person that you are? You know, a lot of times when we are islanders, we know who we are, we know our genealogy, we can take it back for generations, and that's something that we won't lose. But I do feel that.
You know, this is secret, only here. Okay. Whatever stays here is here. Okay, don't.
Las Vegas rule.
Oh, hello. Okay, 1 month ago, I'm also liaison for the consulate office in Honolulu, Ryojikan. So, Mr. Mezu, we have very important person, Abe Sori no brother, Kishi Nobuo Sensei, came to Kauai. Oh, Mr. Mezu, please arrange this and this. Hotel, no problem. Oh, what about translation? Oh, no problem. We have Gaimusho from Japan come. They come to Kauai. He's very versed in technical things, like, you know, the Aegis right now, right? Aegis. He knows what? Checking into hotel, couldn't check into hotel. There was miscommunication. Oh, credit card, please. Yeah. And the person said, you know, you cannot use this credit card. You know, it's a very technical thing. They took 20 minutes to check in. And he's with the foreign ministry. He flew in to be a translator, couldn't check the person in. So I had to, and I don't want to be the other, so let me take care. No, I said, everything okay? So in 3 minutes, everything's checked in, the breakfast, everything. So it goes to show you, when you talk about intonation, I mean, you know, like, there's feeling behind what you say, right? You gotta know that, especially, we're talking about a congressman, famous congressman from Japan. He sat there 20 minutes, he's getting frustrated. So I said, let me help with the matter. And it took me less than 2 minutes because there is more than just a language. It's the expression like, hey, how's it? Did you check them in because they're VIPs? You know what I mean? This guy is his prime minister of his brother. He's standing there 20 minutes. He's getting irritated, and I had to say, local style, give him the shaka sign means, hey, cool. He's VIP. Put him through. No problem. So it goes to show you, what you learn in school is one thing, but I learned everything on street as well. And that's what I hope more Japanese people would understand. It's not about, oh, I went to, you know, whatever college and studied English. But if you cannot communicate, what's the sense? And I think it's very important. And I just wanted to add on to what he said about intonation.
Tre cose veloci, velocissime.
He wants to say three things. First one.
La cosa importante di questo summit è che bisogna scrivere una carta di ishigaki con i principi del vivere felici, sani, bene, che
Okay. He thinks that we should write a document together, announcing the rules for living, for enjoying life and living better.
le isole possono insegnare al resto del mondo continentale.
Islanders could teach to the rest of to the mainlands, to the other part of the world.
La seconda è che la mia famiglia ha voluto conoscere la posizione e ho inviato la mia posizione e ogni giorno ci posizioniamo grazie anche alla tecnologia. Non tutto ciò che è nuovo è malvagio, insomma.
So, his family wanted to say more, to know more about what he is doing and where he is. So they asked him, please send us your position as we can check. So we don't have to be afraid of technology and of the future.
Terza cosa, io mi auguro e auguro a tutti noi di ritrovarci qui a festeggiare i 98 anni di Irina.
Okay, the last thing is that I wish we can meet here again all together to enjoy her birthday in for 100, yes, exactly. All together. So I wish
Anche tu, anche tu.
Thank you.
I'll be 150-year-old. Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, thank you very much. I think this is a very fantastic. Yeah,
Thank you.
we started this session with aloha. So why don't we close this session with aloha again? Aloha. Aloha.
Bellissimo.
Yeah. Aloha. Thank you very much.
Thank you.